Welcome back, dear students. Today we will learn how to draft an agreement to sell a flat. You see, this phenomena is very common in every part of the country, especially the NCR area, where people used to purchase flat for their living, and before the actual sale deed, the parties usually enter into an agreement to sell, and thereafter finally the sale deed is executed. Dear students, you know the references and books available on the subject of drafting and pleading, and we have discussed the details of these books in earlier lectures also. Now in the unit 4, lecture 23 relates to the learning of drafting of an agreement to sell a flat. Dear students, you must know what is an agreement, because you are going to draft an agreement for sale. So what is an agreement? You should know how agreement is prepared, whether this agreement can be oral, and can you draft an agreement without any oral conversations? Is it possible to draft an agreement without prior negotiations? You see, agreement to sell a movable property like your car can be made orally. But an agreement to sale or purchase can be made only by a registered instrument. If you want to purchase an immovable property like a flat in Noida, what you are supposed to do? First of all, you will meet the prospective seller if you know him. If you do not know the owner of the flat, then you will probably contact some property dealer. He will take his 1% commission also. Then property dealer will ask you a few preliminary questions to you about the location where you want to live, the size of the flat, value of the flat, and your budget also he will ask. How much budget do you have for purchasing a particular flat? Then after this preliminary interrogation, the dealer will show you so many flats in Noida according to your need. You want 3 BHK or 4 BHK. Then on selection of flat by you, the dealer will take you to the real owner of the flat. Now, the seller and purchaser are in front of each other. Negotiations will take place. Terms and conditions will be settled. Total price of the flat shall be settled. Amount of earnest money which you are going to pay to the seller today will be settled. Then time limit for legal formalities will be settled. Then time limit for execution of agreement will be fixed as to when you are going to enter into an agreement. Then time limit for final payment to be made to the other party will be fixed. Then date of delivery of possession will also be decided, when actual delivery of flat will be given to you. Now you are witnessing that all the terms and conditions of this sale and purchase are being settled orally. Now the terms and conditions they have settled orally. Now both the parties will come to you because you are a lawyer. They will request you for drafting of an agreement to sell. Then you as an advocate will draft an agreement to sell the flat. This exercise, dear students, shows that initially one party gave an offer to another. Say, owner of the flat has given an offer to the purchaser that he is going to sell his flat for 1 crore and 10 lakh rupees or 1 crore rupees. This offer was accepted by the purchaser that well he is ready to purchase the flat for a sum of rupees 1 crore. This 1 crore was lawful consideration between the parties, and as such there is no illegality in this agreement. This agreement is not against any law for the time being in force, and this agreement of sale purchase of a flat is legally enforceable. So dear students, if I may summarize the spirit of agreement to sell, three equations are ready now. One party gave an offer that I wish to sell my flat to you for a sum of rupees 1 crore. The purchaser accepted this offer, so a gentleman promise was made. This promise has lawful consideration of 1 crore rupees. It makes promise plus lawful consideration is equal to agreement. Then finally, this agreement has legal enforcement because there is no illegality in it. So third equation, agreement plus legal enforcement makes the contract. This exercise shows that before an agreement is executed in writing, oral agreement is a must. Because without oral negotiations, you can't reach to a document. You can't draft a contract for sale unless something orally is decided in advance. And a written contract which you are going to draft today is nothing but memorandum of what was orally agreed between the parties. See, orally the amount of 1 crore was agreed. Orally the size of the flat was agreed. Orally 3 BHK or 4 BHK was agreed. The earnest money to be paid was 10 lakh rupees. That was also orally agreed. Sale deed was to be executed within 6 months. Balance money was to be paid at the time of registration of the sale deed. All these terms and conditions were agreed orally first between the parties, and then a legal shape in writing called as memorandum of what was agreed orally between the parties will be written. Now, if the law requires that this contract has to be in writing, then it must be in the shape of a written document. And if the law requires that this agreement must be registered, then it has to be registered. Like section 54 of the TP Act, sale is defined in section 54 of TP Act. Sale is a transfer of ownership in exchange for a price paid or promised, or part paid and part promised. Sale means the seller is transferring his ownership to you for a price paid, 1 crore rupees, or promised 1 crore rupees, partly paid 10 lakh advance, partly promised 90 lakh to be paid at the time of actual sale deed. Now, how this sale is to be made? The law is that transfer of a tangible immovable property can be made only by a registered instrument. That means it must be in writing as well as registered. Now, what is contract for sale? See, there are two documents. One is contract for sale and another is contract of sale. So, initial agreement to sell, which we are going to draft today, is a contract for sale. Sale is to take place in future, maybe within 2 months or 6 months or 1 year. But today, the agreement which is entered into between the seller and purchaser is known as contract for sale. And a contract for sale of immovable property is a contract that sale of such property shall take place on terms settled between the parties. And such a contract can be made only by registered instrument. See, both the documents are required to be registered. Contract for sale and actual sale deed, which will take place on payment of balance consideration. Both the documents are required to be in writing, attested by 2 witnesses, and it must be registered. See, in India, this agreement to sell, initial agreement to sell in which only 10 lakh rupees are paid as advance money out of 1 crore, this contract for sale does not of itself create any interest or charge in the property. Interest or charge in the property will be created when sale deed second document is complete. At the time of registration of agreement to sell, property is not transferred from seller to purchaser. Property will be transferred from seller to purchaser only and only when sale deed takes place. So I told you that we can have 2 contracts. One is contract for sale, which is an initial contract between the parties. Then second contract will be the final sale deed, which is known as contract of sale. And I told you that contract for sale creates no right in the property to be sold. Whereas actual sale deed, final sale deed, later contract transfers the property from seller to the buyer. And legally speaking, dear students, it is not essential to enter into the first contract, that is contract for sale. It is not essential. One can go straight away for the contract of sale. If the seller obtains necessary permissions required for execution of sale deed, and I am ready with 1 crore rupees, so I can pay him 1 crore rupees directly, and direct sale deed can be executed in my favor. So first document, that is initial contract for sale, is legally not required. But generally in India, you will see that parties initially agree for contract for sale, and after a gap of agreed time, they go for final sale deed, that is final contract of sale. With this background in mind, dear students, we will start learning how to draft an agreement to sell a flat. This is contract for sale, initial agreement between the parties when only earnest money is paid. The entire sale consideration of 1 crore is not paid. We are going to draft initial agreement to sell between seller and purchaser. And the beginning has to be done like this. This agreement is executed on first day of 2017 between now the named parties, complete name and address of the plaintiff, of the seller. Seller is the first party, and complete name and address of the purchaser, who is the second party. So here our seller is A, son of B, aged about 40 years, resident of flat number 918 Pavilion Court 10, JB Greens, Wishtown, Sector 128 Noida, Gautam Buddha Nagar, UP, is our seller. Hereinafter, this fellow will be called as vendor, seller or vendor. And this expression shall, unless repugnant to the context or meaning hereof, mean and include his heirs, successors, legal representatives, administrators, executors, nominee, and assigns of the first part. This seller or vendor, this includes his heirs. If after agreement to sell, suppose the seller dies, then this agreement is binding on his heirs. After his death, this agreement will be binding on his successors, legal representatives in law. Suppose an administrator is appointed by the court on behalf of the seller for properties, including this property which was to be sold. Then administrator is bound by this agreement. Likewise, executors. If the seller nominates someone, then his nominee is also bound by this agreement to sell. And assigns, if he transfers his right to anyone, then that assignee is also part of the vendor. So this vendor or seller includes heirs, successors, legal representatives, administrators, executors, nominee, and assignee. All are included as vendor of the first part or the first party to an agreement. Right? Second party is, and who is the purchaser? X, son of Y, aged about 45 years, resident of flat number 906, Designers Park, Sector 62, Noida, Gautam Buddha Nagar, UP. He is the second party purchaser. Hereinafter called as purchaser, which expression shall, unless repugnant to the context or meaning hereof, shall mean and include his heirs. See, it is not only for the first party, it is for the second party also, purchaser also, that if he dies after entering into this agreement, then purchaser's heirs are bound by this agreement. Purchasers, successors, legal representatives, administrators, executors, nominee, and assigns, they are also part of purchaser, and they are the second part. Okay. So the definition of seller and purchaser includes all these legally authorized heirs, successors, legal representatives, administrators, executors, all nominees, and assignees. They are all included in the definition of first party as well as definition of second party who is going to purchase this flat. Now, after mentioning the name of both the parties, now the terms and conditions as to how the property is to be sold, how the owner is the real owner of the property, from where he obtained his title. All these factors will be mentioned in different paragraphs. And the beginning of the paragraph is to be done by the word whereas. Whereas the vendor is absolute owner of the 3 BHK property bearing flat number 906 Designers Park, Sector 62, Noida, District Gautam Buddha Nagar, UP, built upon an area of 2000 square feet, more specifically described in the schedule annexed hereunder, and with boundaries thereof marked in the red color for better clearance and delineated on the plan or map annexed hereunder, hereinafter referred to as the said property. Paragraph 1 is telling you as to how vendor is absolute owner of this property. Description of the property, flat number 3 BHK, flat number 906, area 2000 square feet, which is more specifically described in the schedule, which is attached at the end of this agreement to sell. There is a plan or map also. So this is the details of property to be sold by a first party to the second. Next. And whereas the vendor has declared and represented to the purchaser that he has acquired the said property by way of inheritance from his father, Shri C, who died intestate on 20th December 2016, leaving behind only the vendor as a sole legal heir. See how property has come to seller? He inherited this property from his father, who died intestate on 20th December 2016. And the seller is the sole legal heir, so he has a right to transfer this property. And whereas the vendor has further declared and represented to the purchaser that said property is self-acquired property of his father, late Shri C, who purchased the same from Shri ML, son of NL, on 1st January 2000 on 1st January 2016, while registered sale deed dated 1/1/2016, which is duly registered in the office of Sub-Registrar Noida, District Gautam Buddha Nagar, in register number 1 at pages number 345 to 356. Again, the source of title is being explained that vendor's father has purchased this property from another person by virtue of sale deed dated 1/1/2016, which is duly registered in the office of Sub-Registrar. And what are the other understandings? And whereas the vendor has further declared and represented to the purchaser that the said property is free from all encumbrances. See, this is the duty of the vendor to declare and tell frankly to the purchaser that the property to be sold is free from all encumbrances, charges, gifts, liens, attachments, mortgages, liabilities, unauthorized occupation, tenancies, claims, and litigations whatsoever. Property is free from all these problems, and the vendor shall keep the said property free from all encumbrances till the conclusion, execution, and registration of final sale deed takes place in favor of purchaser. This is also an understanding given by the seller to the purchaser. And what are other terms and conditions? Paragraph will begin, and whereas the vendor is interested to sell the said property, offer, and the purchaser has agreed to purchase, acceptance. What he will purchase? All the rights, title, and interest of the vendor in respect of the said property for a total consideration of rupees 1 crore only, subject to terms and conditions appearing hereunder. So there was an offer from the side of the seller that he will sell his flat for 1 crore rupees to the purchaser. Purchaser accepted this offer. It had a lawful consideration of 1 crore rupees. So a contract for sale is in the contemplation and is ready. You can say that this is a history of the deed which we have drafted today, including few terms and conditions. Based on it, you see it is written in all capital letters. Now therefore, this deed witnesses and parties here to agree and declare as it. Now again, the terms and conditions 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs you are supposed to draft. See, the first set of facts which was orally agreed between the parties, the facts are that the vendor shall sell. This was the offer. And purchaser shall purchase. This was the acceptance. Whole of said property bearing flat number 906. This is essential to write down flat number for proper identification of property. Then place where this flat is situated, Designers Park. Where Designer Park is situated in Noida. It is in sector 62 Noida, District Gautam Buddha Nagar in UP. How much is the area? Built upon an area of 2000 square feet, including all the rights, title, and interest in the land beneath it. Of course, the land on which flat is standing is also being sold. So 2000 square feet, including all the right, title, and interest in the land beneath it, building, fixtures, and fittings thereof, more specifically described in the schedule annexed hereunder, and with boundaries thereof marked in the red color for better clearance and delineated on the plan or map annexed hereunder for a total consideration of rupees 1 crore only. See, this amount of 1 crore is written in words as well as figures. This is essential to avoid any interpolation or forgery. Because if somebody will try to change this 1 crore, he wants to make it 2 crores. So one figure 1 can be converted into 2, but what is written in the words is also 1 crore. You will have to change that also. So one can decipher very easily that this sale consideration by way of forgery has been changed later on. That's why the rule is that you write down the sale consideration in words as well as figures both. Second, terms and conditions, of course, which were orally agreed in the beginning, that has to be given a legal shape, that you have to draft it in a paragraph, that the purchaser has paid a sum of rupees 10 lakh only. See here, 10 lakh is also written in the words as well as figures to avoid interpolations and forgeries. So purchaser has paid a sum of rupees 10 lakh only to the vendor by means of a check number 367995 dated 1/1/2017, drawn on SBI, Parliament Street, New Delhi, and the vendor admits and acknowledges the receipt of the same. So the vendor is accepting the receipt of this check for rupees 10 lakh in this agreement itself. Next condition was para 3. The purchaser shall pay the balance sale consideration of rupees 90 lakh only to the vendor or seller at the time of registration of the sale deed and the vendor has agreed to it. Yes, of course, this is the normal practice. Approximately 5 to 10% money is given in advance as earnest money, and the balance money has to be paid at the time of registration of the final sale deed in the office of Sub-Registrar, Noida. Next set of facts is that the vendor, para 4, that the vendor has handed over the vacant possession of the said flat to the said purchaser at the time of signing this agreement, and purchaser admits and acknowledges the receipt of possession. So this is also a unique case that vendor has already handed over the possession because the purchaser is residing in the same flat, maybe as a tenant. Now he wants to purchase it. So para 4 says that vendor has handed over the vacant possession of the said flat to the said purchaser at the time of signing this agreement. Depends on the terms and conditions. Normally possession is given at the time of after execution of sale deed. But here in this agreement, well, it is the wishes of the parties that the vendor has handed over the vacant possession of said flat to the purchaser at the time of signing of this agreement, and the purchaser admits and acknowledges the receipt of possession. Then certain legal formality. That the vendor or the seller, he has to obtain clearance from income tax department also. It takes time. So that time is mentioned here in para 5. The vendor shall obtain income tax clearance certificate required under Income Tax Act, along with other certificate and permissions required for sale of flat within 6 months of execution of this agreement. So from 1st January 2017, 6 months up to 30th June 2017 are available with the vendor for obtaining all these permissions. And this period is the essence of this agreement. He has to obtain all these permissions within 6 months. However, in case the vendor is unable to do so, he is unable to obtain the permissions for any reasons, and the proceedings for permissions remains pending beyond 6 months, then until the final orders of the authorities concerned in that connection, the period of execution of sale deed shall automatically remain extended beyond 6 months. See, if he cannot obtain permission for sale deed within 6 months, it takes 8 months. Obviously, my right of sale deed shall extend beyond the period of 6 months also. And how the vendee or purchaser will come to know that permissions have been obtained, it is mentioned here. Last line. The vendor shall, however, inform in writing to the purchaser immediately upon the receipt of all the said permissions for completion of sale deed in terms of this agreement. Whenever the seller has obtained all permissions, he will give a notice to the purchaser that please come and get the sale deed executed in your favor after payment of balance money. Now suppose the vendor fails to obtain requisite permissions, then what will happen? Sometimes it happens that the seller is not willing to sell and he delays the permission which is to be taken from income tax authority. Voluntarily he is delaying it. So para 7 is the answer for this also. That in case the vendor fails to obtain the requisite permission or certificates and fails to complete the sale deed in terms of this agreement, then purchaser shall be entitled to obtain necessary permissions required under law on behalf of vendor at the cost and expenses of the vendor. Besides that, purchaser shall have right to get this agreement specifically enforced and implemented through court of law without prejudice to his other rights. This is the answer to that lethargy on the part of the seller that he is not obtaining required permissions. Then purchaser will apply for those permissions on behalf of the vendor and all expenses will be borne by the vendor because it is the duty of the vendor to take the necessary permissions. And I have my right of specific performance intact. Besides that, purchaser shall have right to get this agreement specifically enforced and implemented through court of law without prejudice to his other rights. Now, another set of facts that the vendor has declared and represented to the purchaser that the said property is free from all encumbrances, charges, liens, attachments, mortgages, liabilities, tenancies, claims, litigations, etc. And it has been agreed that if any error, misstatement, or omission is discovered in this respect, the same shall not annul the sale deed, and the purchaser shall have a right to specifically enforce this agreement in spite of those defects. The vendor has further agreed with the purchaser that in case the said property or any part thereof is lost from the purchaser on account of any defect in the vendor's title or its right to transfer possession or quiet enjoyment of said property, or the purchaser is in any way disturbed on account of any litigation in respect of the property, in respect of the title of the said property, then the vendor shall defend such action and be liable for all costs and expenses sustained by the purchaser or caused to the purchaser as a result of such litigation. If there is any defect in title, any litigation is pending, then it is a duty of the vendor to contest and make the title clear. And finally, the vendor accordingly expressly agrees to keep the purchaser harmless and indemnified from all costs, charges, and expenses which the purchaser may sustain or incur by reason of any claim of whatsoever nature being made by anybody in respect of title of the said property. So it is the duty of the vendor to keep the purchaser indemnified. Then see, generally parties sometimes commit breach of agreement also. Then there is a penal clause written in the agreement itself. This is very usual whenever agreement to sell is drafted. So in our country, this is a very common clause in the agreement that if seller fails to sell the property he will have to return the double the amount of earnest money to the purchaser. And if purchaser fails in purchasing, then he loses his earnest money, that is 10 lakh rupees, which he has paid in advance. So these facts are to be drafted like para 9. In case any party hereto commits breach of this agreement, he shall be liable to pay damages to the other party. If the purchaser fails to pay the balance amount to the vendor shall have right to forfeit the earnest money of rupees 10 lakh. And in converse of it, if the vendor fails to execute the sale deed in favor of purchaser and fails to apply or obtain the requisite permissions for completion of sale deed, and any defect is discovered by the purchaser in the title of the vendor over the said property, then purchaser shall have a right to recover double the amount of earnest money from the vendor. However, this would be besides the rights of the parties to enforce specific performance of this agreement. So if purchaser makes default, he loses his earnest money. And if the seller is not in a position to sell, then he will have to return double the amount of earnest money, that is 20 lakh rupees. Now you see, flat is an immovable property, certain taxes, municipal charges are there. So it is obvious that up to the date of sale deed, all those charges will be borne by the vendor because he is the owner of it. And from the date of sale deed, the purchaser becomes the owner. So from the date of sale deed onwards, all those charges will be paid by the purchaser, who has now become the owner after registration of sale deed. So these facts are to be drafted like this: that the vendor shall be liable to pay all rates, taxes, charges, and other outgoing of municipal corporations and or any other authority or department up to the date of handing over the vacant possession of said property to the purchaser. And it shall be the responsibility of the purchaser to bear and pay all other rates, taxes, charges, and outgoings as will become due and payable for the period after the date of taking of the vacant possession of the property. This was agreed between the parties in this case because the possession was handed over on the date of agreement to sell. So they have agreed that vendor will pay all the taxes before he delivered the possession to purchaser, and purchaser will pay all the taxes from the day when he has taken over the possession. Now, I have paid 10 lakh rupees as an advance. Agreement to sell is being entered into with me, but I have a right to get the sale deed executed in the name of my wife or any other nominee. This was also orally agreed. So para 11 is to be drafted like this: that purchaser shall have the right to have sale deed in respect of the said property executed in favor of his nominees. If I have nominated my wife as purchaser, so sale deed shall be executed in favor of my nominee, that is my wife, and vendor shall not raise any objection in this regard. Then this is also the normal practice that registration charges, stamp duty, all these expenses are to be borne by the purchaser. So para 12, the stamp duty, other costs and expenses for preparation, execution, and registration of sale deed shall be borne by and paid by the purchaser. This is also a normal custom in our country that purchaser has to bear all these expenses beside the sale consideration of 1 crore rupees. Now this agreement, which was required in writing, which you are drafting, has to be signed by both the parties in the presence of 2 witnesses. So this paragraph is to be drafted like this: that in witness whereof the parties have set their respective hands on this agreement on the day, month and year first above written in the presence of following witnesses. The date of agreement was mentioned in the opening part of this agreement as 1st January 2017. Then vendor is required to sign and purchaser is also required to sign. Witness number 1 will put his signatures. Witness number 1 is C, son of D, with complete address. And witness number 2 is E, son of F, with complete address. He will also sign this agreement to sell. Now, schedule of property to be sold. This is very important part of your deed. You must clearly define what is the property to be sold. And details of the property are all that property, 3 BHK flat, area 2000 square feet, bearing number 906, situated at 9th floor, Designers Park, Sector 62, Noida, District Gautam Buddha Nagar, UP, bounded and butted as under. What is situated in north of this property to be sold? What is situated in the south, west, east, top side and down side? And then a site plan is also required to be appended along with this agreement to sell. That site plan will show the details of the property. After this schedule of property, again vendor and purchaser will sign, and 2 witnesses, C, son of D and E, son of F, will sign this agreement, and then this agreement will be produced in the office of Sub-Registrar, Noida, for its registration. So this is how, dear students, we have learned the drafting of this agreement to sell. Thank you very much.